Welcome back to another Records, Food, and Other Stuff. For this week, once again, I'm Lenny Hilson. Right now, I'm recording this week for the first time for YouTube, um, as well as on the computer for Anchor. It'll be on Spotify, Apple, Google Play, and Amazon Music. Yeah, before we kick off the show, I'm just going to go over what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Ezra Miller. I'm going to talk about Vince McMahon. I got to talk about Len's Gem for the week and some other stuff as well. So sit tight, hold on, and away we go. There's some crazy things going on over at DC with Ezra Miller. They kind of went off the rails. They could be dropped from the Flash after the Flash movie comes out. It could be dropped from playing Flash at all. Because it says right here, Warner Brothers is likely to cease working with the troubled 29-year-old amid mounting legal issues. This is from People magazine, so it's a valid source. Warner Brothers is reportedly prepared to drop Ezra Miller, the once promising star of 2017's Justice League, and the upcoming movie The Flash from future DC comic movies amid mounting legal trouble. So what's this guy been doing? Or what's this person been doing? What have they been doing? According to multiple outlets, including Deadline and Rolling Stone, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav is said to be considering a replacement for Miller after releasing The Flash, which was complete before Miller's latest round of legal woes and delayed due to the pandemic. The splashy comic book movie, in which Warner Brothers reportedly invested $200 million, wrapped production last fall and is currently due to hit theaters June 23rd, 2023. The news of Miller's career trouble follows several disturbing accusations. Buckle up. On June 15th, the mother of a 12-year-old Greenfield, Massachusetts child was granted a temporary order of protection forbidding the 29-year-old movie star, who identifies as transgender, non-binary, and uses they/them pronouns, from contacting the minor after a February incident. According to the Daily Beast, which interviewed the mother and the child, who also identifies as non-binary but did not name them, Miller was in Massachusetts playing a game with the family at a neighbor's home when the neighbor claims Miller became enraged, flashed a gun, and threatened the group. The child, who reportedly met Miller through an acquaintance, told the other that they were scared of Miller. A representative for Greenfield District Court confirmed to People an order of protection was granted but declined to provide additional details. Days before the story about the Massachusetts family broke, the parents of 18-year-old North Dakota resident Dakota Iron Eyes were granted an order of protection against Miller by the Standing Rock Sioux Tribal Court. Chase Iron Eyes and his wife, Sarah Jumping Eagle, claimed Miller was psychologically manipulative toward their child, who was allegedly on the run with Miller. That's the child that he's technically kidnapped. She's a minor. While Jumping Eagle told People that their child is basically brainwashed, the teen said Ezra is innocent in a June 16 post on Instagram, adding, "This is my life. These are my decisions, and I'm disappointed in my parents and the press in every way." As the story continues to unfold, Miller, who was twice arrested in Hawaii in March and April for disorderly conduct and second-degree assault, one couple decided to later drop restraining order, has apparently deactivated their Instagram account, and authorities have been unable to reach them. Warner Brothers declined to comment to People, and efforts to reach representatives for Miller have been unsuccessful. Yikes. So, all these legal troubles, all this, dealing with minors and such, we may never see the Flashpoint movie. They may have to recut the movie. They may have to, it focuses on him, right? So, I'm sure they could figure out a way to re-edit or redo the movie. But I don't know what they're going to do. It comes out next June, so hopefully all these legal troubles and everything are settled and Ezra just kind of fades away and they can release the movie and just kind of say, like, don't focus on him because we're going to replace don't focus on them because they're going to be them's going to be replaced. You get 46. Get hard to figure that out. And plus, whiteout hasn't been helping things. So cheers. Once again, Records, Food, and Other Stuff. I'm Lenny, and that was a messed up story. I'll be back in 1 minute with another story. Here's another song for you to enjoy. If you haven't heard by now, Vince McMahon has stepped down as CEO, Vice Chairman of WWE Inc. or Incorporated or whatever they're calling it, Enterprise. He's no longer the Chairman and CEO. It's amid a sex scandal. I guess he's paid $3 million allegedly. So far, he paid $3 million to a female coworker who I guess had a relationship 3 years ago, and she signed a non-disclosure agreement, and he gave her $3 million, and she no longer works for the company. Probably not the first time he's done this, because there's an article here from Bleacher Report that I got. I'll read to you. But he came out on SmackDown on Friday. I haven't watched WWE product in almost a year, so but the goings on and behind the scenes, this kind of caught my attention. So here we go from Bleacher Report. Turns out fans weren't the only ones who felt Vince McMahon should have stayed off television amidst sexual misconduct allegations. Fightful Select reported several members of the WWE locker room were displeased with McMahon's appearance on SmackDown, with one wrestler calling the appearance tone-deaf and embarrassing. McMahon appeared at an opening on Friday's SmackDown and addressed the crowd, but did not discuss the allegations that led him to stepping down as chairman and CEO of WWE. The 76-year-old instead seemingly made the appearance in an act of defiance, finishing his short promo by tossing his microphone out of the ring. I'm happy it didn't last long, so I didn't have to sit through whatever bullshit he was going to say, a former wrestler told Fightful, but it shows that he has no accountability, especially when something is directly his fault. WWE's board of directors is currently investigating McMahon and head of talent relations, John Laurinaitis, for misconduct related to the employment of a former paralegal. Joe Palazzolo and Ted Mann of the Wall Street Journal broke the news of a $3 million settlement McMahon reached with the woman after the two allegedly had an affair. According to the report, McMahon increased the woman's salary from $100,000 to $200,000 when the affair began. He later assigned her to the desk of Laurinaitis as his assistant. WWE has maintained the relationship was consensual. So that's the good part of it, that it was consensual. But there's whole other law firms going after, because there's, I guess, other pockets of $3 million or $4 million here and there that have gone missing. So there might be more. There might be more women. Not really the first time McMahon's done stuff like this over the years. There's always been rumors, but this is the first time I think he's actually kind of been investigating caught, because I mean, back in the late 70s, 80s, 90s, it was a family-run business. They went public a few years ago, and now there's a board of directors to answer to, so he can't get away with stuff like this. So doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for WWE. Something like this could oust the McMahon family from the business that they built, the empire they built, whether you like it or the product or not now. I mean, it's still global. It's a global entertainment business, and I mean, the McMahons could be out. And as a long-time wrestling fan would suck, even though I haven't watched it in over a year, because it always gets good again. Something always happens, or someone comes along and kind of changes everything up. But this one doesn't look good. Yeah, even when wrestlers are starting to turn on him, because usually everyone kind of falls in line with Vince, and not the old days anymore. When you have accountability to a board, stuff like this doesn't look good. So, I mean, I guess good luck to investigating this, because I bet you they're going to find a whole lot of women from a long, long line. Yeah, more music coming up. Records, Food, Nuts. All right, on the podcast, we just heard She Didn't Know live at the Roxy, the Tragic Hips newest album, and it happens to be this week's Lens Gem. Here's what the podcast isn't getting: a look at the album. Boom. It's a nice cover. Just two albums inside. I've had this on CD for many years. I had a bootleg of it. Scott of the Scott Lens Show gave me a copy back when we were in college in probably 1996 or 97. I think he gave that to me, and yeah, it was one of my favorite albums that because it's the Hip at their best live. They were always a great live band, even up to the last concerts they did. This has the famous New Orleans is Sinking with the Killer Whale Tank story. I loved it. It's awesome. There's another song on there though that I really liked was Highway Girl, because within that he goes off on another story, and you can kind of hear parts that later became Locked in the Trunk of a Car fully completely. So this album they're kind of working through songs that eventually became fully completely, and that was gourd, man. Like every time I saw him, I think I've seen them 6 times, and he would just go off on these stories and just feeling the music and whatever else he was feeling. Always entertaining. They were one of the best live groups I've ever seen. Top 5, probably top 3, to be honest with you. They're a very tight-knit group, great musicians, great lyricists. You can't really get much better than them. I know they're Canadian, they're ours, they're Canada's, they're our boys. Very heartbreaking when Gord passed away a few years ago from brain cancer, but they're releasing really cool stuff right now, and we're probably going to get more of it, and bring it on. I didn't buy the Road Apples reissue because it was a lot of money and a whole lot of records and CDs and everything, which this Live at the Roxy was released as part of that on CD only, and I don't own a CD player anymore, so I'm like, I would have paid the money if it was the vinyl back then, probably, but I'm glad I waited. So yeah, Len's Gems. What was going on at this time? It's a Tragically Hip. Do you guys remember? I vaguely remember. Like I said, this is back in my end of high school, college days, so again, glug, smoky glug. Okay, so it was originally recorded May 3rd, 1991 at the iconic Los Angeles venue for a Westwood One radio show. Only 40 minutes of the set was broadcasted on air at the time, making the full recording that much more in demand. This renowned concert saw the band at peak performance and is considered one of the best live shows from any rock band of the era. Reminiscing on the night and what made this show particularly special for the band, bassist Gord Sinclair recalls, "I remember the Roxy show like it was yesterday. We had spent a year on the road before recording Road Apples and got right back in the saddle when we finished. The new tunes worked great live, and by the time we got to LA, we were firing on all pistons. Live at the Roxy is the second standalone live record for the band, and it's been 25 years since their first, Live Between Us, released in 1997. Another good album. With all tracks completely remastered in 22 on by Ted Jensen at Sterling Sound in Nashville. The album features the fan favorite Killer Whale Tank version of New Orleans is Sinking. The 9-minute track is characterized by a mid-song story of the late frontman Gord Downie, about a job cleaning an aquarium and inadvertently causing friction between the 2 whales held in the tank. Factor fiction, fans listen in wonderment. The captivating ad-libbing throughout the entirety of the record creates the experience for the listener, and as Sinclair describes, a great show is something you just have to experience to understand. The magic stays with you. Listening back 30 years later, and I'm transported to that hot, sweaty, and very special night. The band was tight and unstoppable. Great crowd, great venue. Together we took things to another level. The Tragically Hip fans brought this release to fruition after countless requests for the deep cut versions of some of the band's most celebrated songs. Live at the Roxy offers a timeless experience of this sensational night as never before released. The striking album artwork is sequential to Road Apple's 30th anniversary deluxe art, sure to be a favorite of any collector. So yeah, the tracks on here: Little Bones, She Didn't Know, Twist My Arm, Highway Girl, Cordelia, Trickle Down, Luxury, Three Pistols, Fight, I Believe in You, or I Believe in You Tonight, New Orleans Sinking on the Verge, Long Time Gonna Blow It, High Dough, All Canadian Surf Club. Great album. But yeah, I really can't wait to listen to this. It's been a while. Like I said, I don't have a CD player. They're not. I got 2021 pickup. No CD player in that thing anymore. Everything's Bluetooth. But yeah, I can't wait to get a listen on. And If you pre-order this album and are excited as I am to hear it, drop me a line at recordsfoodandotherstuff@gmail.com. You can get me on Twitter at recordsfoodandotherstuff. You can get me on the Facebook page, Records, Food, and Other Stuff. You get the point, right? Just Google it for social media, and you'll find me. All right, we're gonna get another live track off of this. Unfortunately, I can't get Highway Girl or Killer Whale Tank. I'm really thinking, so you're gonna have to just bear with me. That's it for this week. That was Tragedy Hips, Cordelia. We just ended on. Join me again next week for another Records, Food, and Other Stuff. Please share, please listen, please watch, and hopefully things get better for the YouTube thing. I'd like to do more for it instead of just me sitting here reading to you. And you can see me like bumbling through things and heavily drinking. So yeah, that's it for this week. You can find me at Records, Food, and Other Stuff. Just Google it. It'll probably come up. All my stuff will come up for social media. And if you've listened, thank you. Share it. Keep listening. Subscribe. Rate it. Like it. And help me grow. Help me grow this. I have fun doing this, so I'm going to keep doing it regardless if I get one listener, no listeners. It's just fun to do this. But yeah, find Wyatt has a few different things he's doing. He does some live stuff on Twitch with Not Box Boy, and you find him. He's connected to all my social media stuff too. So yeah, keep an eye out. The Hilson boys are trying to be creative and get some stuff out there. So once again, thank you for listening. Go back next week. YouTube people, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, what's the other one? Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. Thank you for all your support, those guys over there. And until next week, be safe and keep listening. Thank you. Okay, just setting up for the recording of Records, Food, and Other Stuff. This is going to be the YouTube, so you can see me. I'm going to be trying the White Out Sleeping Giant. It's got to load in an Anchor, and we'll get started recording. So so this is going to be bare bones. There's going to be no music. I'll add a little bit of editing and stuff as we go.